hope you have nightmares about me.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Any Last Words. As always, I'm your host, Joe. I hope you guys had a killer Thanksgiving. I know I did. I tried taking a small break from the interwebs and social media for a couple days just to kind of focus on my family. It's kind of good for you too. So it's another week. Now I'm bored. Now I'm back. So yeah. During my break, went and saw the new Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie. It was actually my first time that I'd been in a theater since the pandemic started. So it was kind of weird, I guess, kind of weird. I don't know. I guess people just don't know how to act anymore. That's all I want to say. Especially like little punk ass kids. Kind of reminds me why I just rather stay home and have my HBO Max with my surround sound on my 75-inch television. So I think I'll do that from now on. So waiting for Matrix 4 to come out because that is on HBO Max and I get to stay home and watch that and I don't have to pay $30 in snacks. I'll just go to the dollar store and get my shit like normal people do. But anyway, so you guys let me know how your guys' holiday was in the comments below. Hope it was great. And also let me know if you've seen the new Resident Evil movie. Now, I'm just going to say, spoiler alert, maybe, spoiler alert. Just going to throw that out there real quick for those of you who have not seen it. And I also want to point out that I am not like this huge expert on Resident Evil by any means. But my older brother did buy PlayStation 1 when it came out. The first games that he got was Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Loved those were amazing because they were totally different at the time, and I enjoyed watching him. He'd always turn the lights off and let me sit in the room and like watch him play the games, and then he'd be tired of his little sister in the room and like, get the fuck out, I'm tired of you being in here kind of deal. So it made it extra creepy and really cool. And he absolutely fell in love with the Resident Evil series, so he always bought the newer Resident Evil game when it came out. I want to say I've only watched him play like maybe 4 or 5 of them growing up. So I don't know all the games. I don't know all the comic book series. I don't know the book series. I've seen pretty much every Resident Evil film except for I just found out the other day, I guess there's some animated films as well. I haven't seen the animated ones. I've seen, what is there, like 7 with Mila Djokovic? 7? Yeah, there's 7 with her. And then I just saw that one, so it's 8. So I'm assuming there's 2, unless there's some live action one that I haven't seen. Hey, Richard, how's it going? So that's all I've seen. Like I said, I'm not like an expert in Resident Evil, but I do know enough about Resident Evil, especially the first and the second, to get by with this film. Okay, like I said, spoiler alert. Let's get into it. So they seemed like they were trying to keep trying and seemed, I'm just going to say it like that. They were trying and that they seemed like they were going to keep the first and second game. I can't even say consistent because the shit wasn't consistent. I don't even know what to fucking say about this other than I did not like it. I was a little confused because it seemed like they crammed too much of the different games into one movie that was less than 2 hours. There were, like Leon Kennedy, he was supposed to, from what I remember in the games, he was like a badass. In this movie, spoiler again, in this movie, he was a complete fucking idiot. He was a complete idiot. And it felt like they were trying to give him some kind of redemption or a little save here and there, but it just wasn't working. He still went back to being a fucking idiot. And it was just like, wow, you butchered the fuck out of this character. How did you manage to do that? How? He was like one of the badass characters. And then Albert Wesker was also supposed to be another like main badass character, but you got like this douchebag bro frat boy kind of vibe from him instead of like a badass, and it was he just seemed very watered down. It wasn't that he was, he wasn't an idiot or anything, but he just, like, the character just seemed very watered down. Um, and that just really seen it. Richard says, I haven't seen much hype for the new Resident Evil movie. Was there any raccoons in Raccoon City? You know what? There wasn't even many zombies in Raccoon City, because that's the next thing too. In the game, and I understand the game and the film, they're not gonna be completely the same, but there really wasn't many zombies at all. They were kind of cheesy looking. There was one throughout the film that I thought actually looked pretty cool. And hey, John, thanks for joining. There was one zombie that I thought was really cool. But then when it got to the gore of it, it was animated. It was CGI. And that broke my heart so much, because I was like, that was not necessary. By what you did with that zombie, that was not necessary at all. And you can tell very much it was CGI. Like, it just didn't look good to me. And I felt that kind of robbed the film a little bit also. Because like I said, there weren't many zombies in this, but when you're playing the game, it's like this town is in total chaos. And it was just very apocalyptic in the game. Now, to say some positive about the town and everything, I don't know if it was done on a set or if it was done in a real town, but it did look really good. The mansion looked really good. Let's see what else. The orphanage looked amazing. The police station looked great, and it looked, like it did in the video game. So they kept it true as far as that goes. But again, there wasn't really many zombies, and they just kind of seemed too aware for being zombies. If that makes any sense. I don't know. Do I think there will be a sequel? Yes, I do, because if you go and see the movie, it kind of leaves the door open that there's going to be a sequel. Spoiler, not spoiler, because I'm sure you can go on the internet and see that. Let's see. John says, you feel good Resident Evil story, there's unfortunately far from being done well. No, they could have done a lot better. They really could have, but they just stacked too much together in such a short amount of time. It feels like they tried to do a character development. They focused a lot on Claire and Chris Renfield, who's in, Claire predominantly in the first one. They gave them a lot of a backstory, but it was like when they were little kids. So when they go to adults, they don't give you a lot. They kind of do on Chris, but not enough. And everybody else is in it. Jill Valentine's in it. Dr. Birkins is in it. They got Ada Wong in it. They've got all these different characters, all these really main characters. But there's not enough. And it's like they put them together off and on. Like they put all these people together off and on, and then they break up and they run off. And then they do these split stories, which is okay. But then they just kind of randomly run into each other off and on. And they're like, oh, hi, okay, bye, I'll see you later. And then they run off again. It's like, what the fuck is happening here? It was so all over the place. Kind of like me. It was all over the fucking place. And in the game, there's, you got to get to the train station before 6 a.m. because you got to escape Raccoon City. So they kind of kept that in there too. But we're watching and watching and watching. There's really not a lot of action going on. There's really not a lot of zombies going on. There's really not a lot of story going on. There's just things happening. And you're just seeing things. And, excuse me. And then I noticed that it goes 4 a.m. because they're doing kind of like a countdown throughout it. It goes 4 a.m. I'm like, man, we've been in this movie for a minute. So I peeked down at my phone and I noticed that the movie's been on for almost an hour and a half already, which I think that's about where it's at. So maybe it's, I don't know. It's like 107 minutes long. So that's, under 2 hours. But we're about at the hour and a half mark almost, hour and 20-minute mark. And I was like, this movie's almost over with. And we've really got nothing going on. So by the time it gets to the end, it feels like they're very much rushing the very end of this. Like there's stuff that happens at the end. There's a little bit more action. There's a tiny bit more explanation about what's going on, but it's very, very rushed. And I feel kind of robbed at that. It's like, I think we could have set this back a little further in the movie and we could have stretched it out a little bit and it would have been a lot better. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Love to do a sit down on Doomsday Crypt channel some weekend if interested. Oh. Send me a message. You just finished reading Village. Okay. It's a cool game. In your opinion, not Resident Evil. Oh, Village is that new one that just came out, like a couple months ago, where it's got the chick with the big hat. I watched a couple of walkthroughs of that, because I do like to watch video game walkthroughs. I'm not good at like the toggles and like all the buttons, so I don't play a lot of these games. I do enjoy watching them. I do enjoy the graphics and the stories and everything. So I did watch a couple of walkthroughs. Not all the way to finish, but it looked pretty gnarly. So I wouldn't mind watching an entire walkthrough of that if somebody did like a quick start to finish one that took a couple of hours and not like days of this shit. Because I remember back in the day having to play these games, it took like days to get through this shit. If I can punch one of the characters in the face, who would it be? It would have been Leon. Definitely would have been Leon Kennedy, because just because his character was supposed to be so much better than what it was. You know what? It's not even his fault. It's the writer's fault. It is the director, the writer. It is. But what I did like about it is that it was set back in 1998, like the big internet era where all the technology had blown up. So it was very, very limited in being able to communicate with other people and to do things. I like that a lot. Dr. Birkin, when he took the G virus and he turns into the monster. Spoiler again, sorry, not sorry. You already know if you watched from the beginning. I did like the CGI effect of how he became that monster and the way it looked and the way it was animated. That was really cool. Lisa's character was really cool as well. They took her from the game. She looked really cool, but I didn't get, was she like a rogue monster orphan? Like, did they know she was running around the orphanage or what? I'm kind of confused on that. I don't know. I did also like that they talked about and showed, well, they didn't really talk about it too much, but they acknowledged the G virus in this one, and not just the T virus, because in the Resident Evils with Mila Jovovich, it's just the T virus, and you're left to it's left to your imagination. Like if you've never watched Resident Evil or played it, you're kind of left in your own imagination that these other creatures besides the zombies are just like evolved. They're just evolved zombies, or something happened and they mutated into these creatures. But in the video game, there was the G virus and the T virus, and the G virus basically made the monsters and the T virus made the zombies. If that makes sense. I think I said that right. I don't know. But yeah, so I like that they didn't really talk about it, like I said, but they kind of laid it on the table to where you understood what was happening in this one. Unlike in the original Resident Evils, where they just made you think that everything just evolved from the T virus. So yeah. Let's see. Hey Joe. Rumor has it Resident Evil shows coming out too. You shut your mouth. Don't you put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby. No. Hey, Tino, how you doing? Mwah. Thank you. I need to brush my hat. John says you played the original 96, blew your mind. Seriously went way off the rail in the last 25 years. Yeah, no, it was totally different at the time. The graphics, the story, a horror video game like that, that and Silent Hill were a fucking trip. I do want to do another episode about Silent Hill, because Silent Hill is actually based off of a real town in the United States. So, and it's pretty fucking creepy and it's pretty fucking dope. So maybe we'll get into that another time. John says it's a story for me. I'm not really a gamer anymore, but you've played re-series. Stories individually could be good, but the series, what the fuck? Yeah, right? Hey, Mega Migs. Good to see you again. You Yes, it would be cool. Migs, you caught the OG virus? Shut the fuck up, dude. Hey, Jesse. Mwah. Good to see ya. Will it be a completely muted episode? Am I muted? I can't be muted. No. Silent Hill and Resident Evil as movies were both garbage. Hey, Ron. Oh, man. Oh, I think I'm catching that OG virus there, Migs. Anyway, yeah, this movie was just fucking... This movie, I mean, not that all of the Mila Djokovic ones were great, because they weren't. It really, I want to say, like, after the third or fourth one, they really started to take a fucking headfirst dive. They really did. It only really kept my attention until like the third or fourth, and then afterwards it was just kind of like, can we get through this series already? Like, because you feel kind of invested after so long. You're just kind of like, do I just give up at this point? No, you just got to do it all. You gotta abuse yourself a little bit and just take it all, with hopes that it may get better, and then a couple can be forgiven. But no, it was just a straight, head first dive into the ground until the very end. But it's fine. I can say I've watched all of them, except for the animated ones. Like I said, I didn't know that those were a thing until like maybe today or yesterday. Let's see. Ron says none of the Mila movies were good. They gave us shitty fan service as video games fans and shitty movies as film fans. I take it you're not a fan of Resident Evil. That's cool though. The Mila movies were garbage, but they're kind of you're kind of garbage. Cause she's super awesome, hot, badass chick. Russian badass chick. Yes, super hot. So I will say you can definitely tell, like, and it's no offense to men whatsoever. It's really not. I totally get it. I understand. But you can tell that, like, those movies were created, written, directed by men. Because I'm sitting there every single fucking film going, no real badass bitch is running around in heels and a fucking high waist slit dress trying to kill bad guys. You're just not. I would be looking for some tennies. I could wear a pair of shorts though, or like a comfy pair of sweats. Like something loose that you can move around in and do your little like matrix jumps and walls in or whatever. But ain't no real bad bitch trying to run around in a pair of fucking stilettos and like a high slit skirt trying to save the world. That's just not happening. I'm sorry, guys, to burst your bubble. It's just not happening. It's really, really not. I'm just saying, it's just not. Oh, okay, let's see. There's more comments. Oh crap. Hey Sandra, how you doing, darling? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Let's see. She's super hot Russian badass beach. So you love zombies, so you'll watch those sons of bitches any day. Resident Evil games are great. I want to wash my eyes out with bleach after seeing the movies. Yeah, like I said, third, fourth movie, after that one, just takes a straight nosedive. There was a lot of confusion in some of those too. Well, not really confusion, but there was just kind of like, that's not possible. That's just really not. But oh, her husband wrote and directed those. Yeah, and like that Monster that I think I reviewed that earlier in the year. That movie was fucking garbage. That I would rather watch all the Resident Evils again than have to watch Monsters again. That one fucking sucked. Problem is Resident Evil games, not zombies. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so yeah, lack of zombies. They rushed the ending. Horrible storyline. They tried to mush too many of the games into one movie, which I think that could have been done, honestly, but it was just poorly done. They just butchered a lot of the main characters that were badass. They put a lot of them together, and they were just like, hey, we're together 1 minute, then it's, okay, bye. Oh, hey, just stop in and say hello. Okay, bye. Like, it was just all over the fucking place, dude. It really, really was. Yeah, it just was. So obviously I was not a fan. I think I don't know. I was excited when I saw the trailer. Not that I was like, oh my god, I gotta go see that movie, but I was like, hey, I want to go see that movie because I've already seen all the Resident Evil movies. Let's see what the next one is. Basically, it's just like anything else anymore. It's like, okay, well, the series is over with, so do we continue it or do we start this shit over again with different people in a different storyline? So basically, they went with, let's start this shit over again with a different storyline. And it didn't work. It really didn't. And like I said earlier, they kind of left, you have to watch a little past the credits, and then they do one of those like teaser scenes real quick, or like a hidden scene kind of deal. And yeah, it's definitely showing you that they're gonna do a second one. Whether they do or they don't, I have no clue at all. I did look up the ratings because I was curious. I was very curious because when I left the theater, like I looked at my guy and told him when I was getting towards it, when I looked down at my phone, I was like, God, we're almost done with this movie. I looked over at my guy and I said, this movie fucking sucks. And he goes, what? And I was like, shh, I'll tell you later. Like, I just had to say it. This movie fucking sucks. But when we left, like, saw the ending, we left. I felt a little conflicted. I was like, well, maybe I expected too much out of it because I'm used to the other 7 being so, action packed and, hordes of zombies and more gore and more of this and more of that. And then I really, I sat down and I thought about it. No, this movie was just bullshit. Like, it's not the worst. It's not the worst one. It's really not. But it's not the best one at all. Like, if this was to be added to the other ones that were done, I would put this, like, in the middle somewhere. And then forget about it. Just move on to the other movies. Because it just could have been done so much better. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the scenery was great. The buildings were great. I think that's where they spent all their budget, really. I think they just spent most of their budget was in the mansion and the police station and all this other shit. And that's a shame. That really is, though. Let's see. Is it at least better than the House of the Dead movies? I don't know if I've seen that one, honestly. Resident Evil was zombies in the first few, but Village. Oh, you're fighting werewolves in that one? What? That's dope. Because my favorite, I don't know how many other people have like a favorite monster from the Resident Evil. Like for those who watch Resident Evil, I know some people like the Licker, some people like Tyrant, some people just like different ones. I always like the dogs. I don't know why. The dogs and the little kids, when the little kids turn into the zombies and they're like super fucking fast, that creeps me the fuck out. But I always like the dogs. Those were always my favorite. And I love werewolves. Like werewolves were my favorite. So to hear that, I'm like, I want to watch more of that run through on that Resident Evil 8. So that'd be pretty fucking dope. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to give this a number rating. I don't. So I'm just going to tell you what other sources have rated it. IMDb gave it a 5.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 26%, but honestly, I don't listen to a lot of Rotten Tomatoes because there's a lot of shit I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes that I thought was fucking amazing and they gave it a low score. So I don't really listen to that shit. But yeah, if those two tell you anything, and then me saying that I thought it was fucking bullshit garbage, I don't know. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go see it and judge it for yourself because you might fucking absolutely love it. I know some people who do love it. Some people think this is the best one yet. And you might too. I personally don't. I think it was fucking horrible. I think they could have done a way better job at it, honestly. And that's just really, I don't want to keep running in a circle about it, but yeah, that's just how I feel about it. That's just, my $50 experience, so I get to have an opinion about it. So yeah. Yeah, so it's still in theaters if you want to go see it. Oh, also, if you live in an area that has Regal Cinemas, they're doing this thing. I want to say it's in all areas. It said if you get a certain membership, that you can go to like basically all of them. But Regal Cinema actually has like a subscription pass. You can pay monthly, quarterly, or yearly. I think today's the last day for their Black Friday deal. This is non-sponsored, by the way. I just thought this was really fucking cool. But you can watch unlimited movies. Any movie you want, as many times as you want. And you can do the premiere things. You get a discount on your concession. You get free popcorn and soda on your birthday. All kinds of shit. I saw that yesterday because, like I said, it's the first time going to the movie since, lockdown happened. And I want to get that subscription because it's not that bad. I think it's like 100 and something a year per person. Excuse me. And you can go to the movies as many times as you want, even during the day. Like, you can just sit at the movies all fucking day long, and it doesn't matter. Your pass, just you have the Regal pass. And like I said, there's a certain tier in the membership where you can go like me, I live an hour and a half north of LA. We have a Regal here. If I go to Regal here, that's cool because I live here. But if I go down to LA and there's a different movie there, or I'm with friends and we all want to go to the movies, I can use my pass there too. Or if I go to another state and they have a Regal, I can use it there too. So I thought that was really cool. And I thought I would share that with everybody just in case you don't already know. Yeah, I want to get one of those so I can go to the movies more since things are, getting more and more open. You still need to see Ghostbusters. You know what? I will say Ghostbusters did look pretty good. I actually got one of the collector popcorn buckets and cups last night. That was pretty cool. You need icy hot and Benadryl for your birthday, not popcorn. And a new flask. Would I rate it sucked, Mia, or masterpiece? Well, I would rate it a suck masterpiece. A sucksterpiece, if you will. Hey, Robert, how's it doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, for sure, John. Hit me up. Hit me up. Hit me up. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about that, because that's all I want to say about it, really. Like, there's really nothing else to say about this movie except for judge it for yourself. Don't always take my word as gospel. No one should. No one should take my word as gospel. They really should not, because I'll get you in trouble, number one. So yeah, that's it, guys. What's today? The 29th? We got a couple of days left in this month. On the 1st, I'm going to be setting out a whole new schedule for the entire month of December on shows that I have coming up. I have some other films, little short films that are be coming up too throughout the month that I'm be writing, directing, and filming. And you guys keep an eye out on that as well. And that's it, really. So I'm going to get up out of here. I gotta wash my face and go to bed. I gotta work like super early in the morning, in a couple hours actually. So thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share button, whatever platform you're on. I appreciate you guys watching so much. And I hope you guys have a killer week. And I hope you have nightmares about me.